Back in this country, it took a long time, but lawmakers are finally getting a look at newly released documents relating to the government's failed Operation Fast and Furious gun trafficking scandal. Correspondent William Lajeunesse has the latest tonight from Los Angeles.
We will not rest until every single person responsible for all of this, no matter where they are brought to justice.
Almost 5 years later, Congress is still trying to keep that promise, poring over some 20,000 newly obtained records related to Operation Fast and Furious.
The guns that we saw these individuals buy would begin turning up at crime scenes in the United States and in Mexico, and yet we still did nothing.
The new paper trail shows what appears to be a deliberate attempt by some in the Justice Department to keep secret exactly what happened and how many were killed in the gun running scandal. In April 2011, a senior justice official wrote, quote, "We'll provide only some documents and withhold a substantial number from Congress." 2 weeks before, others suggest not telling lawmakers the number of firearms recovered because, quote, "it squares poorly with how many we haven't."
You either lied or you were grossly incompetent.
I don't know how long you've been here, but my hope would be that, you know, we can get beyond that kind of interaction.
The House found then Attorney General Eric Holder in contempt in 2012 for withholding these documents despite an executive privilege claim by President Obama.
I did not authorize it. Eric Holder, the Attorney General, did not authorize it.
The White House and justice officials denied responsibility for the operation, even while fighting to keep their knowledge and handling of it private. A federal judge ruled in January that executive privilege did not apply here, leading to Friday's document release. Brett?
William, thank you. Let's talk more about Fast and Furious with the chairman of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, Jason Chaffetz. Mr. Chairman, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
First, an overview of what you're seeing with these new documents.
We had to pry these out of the administration. It was Senator Grassley who actually made the first inquiry. And remember, it was February of 2011 that the Department of Justice said to Congress there was no gun walking, and they didn't let these guns out of their view. That was a complete and total lie. And so we've had to go to court. Chairman Issa issued a subpoena. But now the court has ruled mostly in our favor, and the Department of Justice has had to cough up nearly 20,000 new documents.
Let's look at a couple of these emails and documents. One from April 1st, 2011. A senior Justice Department official tells the head of legislative affairs, "We'll provide only some and withhold a substantial number of documents."
Of all the people out there should understand how a subpoena works, it's the Department of Justice. It's not a suggestion, it's not a request. It is a compulsion to provide to the United States Congress all the documents in your possession. And here, in writing, they're demonstrating that they are not complying with the law. They are breaking the law by telling us that they're only going to provide a couple of the documents.
October 2011, a senior aide to the Attorney General mocks other top department officials for the idea of complying with the committee request. He states, quote, "And if the answer is we owe it to Issa," Chairman Issa at the time, "to give him this stuff first, well, that's obviously ridiculous."
Well, it's not about Darrell Issa, although he did an exceptional job of requesting these documents, but when you have a duly issued subpoena, you must comply with it. What's stunning about this particular one is the Attorney General, Eric Holder himself, writes back and says, "I agree." And so there was a concerted effort here to make sure that the Congress never saw the light of day on these documents. They still owe us more. We're appealing this ruling because we think we need 100% of the documents to get to 100% of the truth, and that's what we're committed to.
Well, the Attorney General was censured by the House over this very incident.
They still want the documents. I mean, it was the first time in the history of the United States of America we held the Attorney General in contempt of Congress, and I think it's boring itself out that there was a very concerted effort from Eric Holder himself, his senior top advisors, to make sure that Congress did not get the truth because they didn't want us to see the documents.
Mr. Chairman, here's what I hear when I travel the country. They're interested in all this. They think it really makes them mad.
Yeah.
But they want to know what the heck happens. What is going to happen as a result of all these investigations? Fast and Furious, the IRS, Benghazi.
Yeah.
They like hearing about the details, but they really want to hear what's going to happen as a result of these investigations.
There are a lot of people that come before my committee and oversight. They don't give me handcuffs. I kind of wish they did, but they don't give the legislative branch. I can shine light on it, and in the case of the IRS commissioner, I want to do something that hasn't been done before, at least for the last 140 years, and that is we should impeach the IRS commissioner. If you're going to withhold documents, in the case of the IRS and Lois Lerner, they destroyed 24,000 documents that were in their possession. There needs to be a consequence to that. And you know what? The next administration, I hope, will have the guts to actually go back and prosecute these people because they're clearly breaking the law.
So will this administration see anything as a result of what you're finding out in these documents?
I hope so. We had to force this out of them. We got the courts to agree. That's why they had to provide these documents. We're going to provide that truth, and there may be some other consequences that we come up with down the line, but you have to have an administration of integrity, and that's why it's far time for us to have another election and get another administration in there.
Mr. Chairman, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Brett.